Did you know that one of the coldest countries on Earth gave birth to some of the fiercest warriors in human history? Men who sailed across oceans before most nations even knew what was beyond their shores, and built a legacy so powerful the world still talks about them today? Before we uncover the rise of Norway, from ancient tribes and Viking raids to royal battles, foreign rule, independence, and becoming one of the richest nations on Earth, kindly like, share, and subscribe to Heritage Hunter for more incredible history stories from around the world. Now, travel back with me thousands of years to the edge of ice and sea. Before Norway, the land of ice and early hunters, long before Norway became a country, before kings, before Vikings, before ships cut through freezing waters. The land was buried beneath massive glaciers. For thousands of years, northern Europe was frozen. Then the ice slowly began to retreat, and humans arrived. The earliest people in Norway hunted reindeer and fish along the coast. They survived brutal winters. They built simple shelters, and they learned something powerful. The sea was both danger and survival. That lesson would shape Norway forever. Villages grew along deep coastlines and dramatic fjords. Families became tribes, and over time these communities created stories about gods, spirits, and monsters hidden in forests and mountains. A hard land was raising hard people, and the world had no idea what was coming. The age of the Vikings begins around the late 700s. Norway exploded into history. This was the Viking Age. Norwegian warriors built longships, fast, narrow vessels that could cross oceans and sail rivers. They were unlike anything Europe had seen, and suddenly, Vikings appeared everywhere. They raided monasteries, attacked wealthy towns, sailed to England, Ireland, and France. They struck quickly, then vanished. Europe feared them. But Vikings were not just raiders. They were traders, explorers, shipbuilders, farmers, and pioneers. Norwegians crossed the North Atlantic. They settled Iceland, reached Greenland, and even landed in North America centuries before Columbus. The sea had become their highway, and Norway had become legendary. Harald Fairhair and the birth of a kingdom. But Norway itself was divided. Small kingdoms fought one another. Local rulers battled for land and power. Then came one ambitious leader, Harald Fairhair. Legend says Harald made a promise. He would not cut or comb his hair until all Norway was his. And he meant it. Battle after battle, he conquered rival kings. By around 872, he united much of Norway. For the first time, one kingdom, one ruler, one Norway. But peace didn't come easily. Many opponents fled overseas. Some became settlers in Iceland. Others waited for revenge. The kingdom was born, but it remained fragile. Pagan gods versus Christianity. Norway's Vikings worshipped gods like Odin, Thor, and Loki. Temples stood across the land. Warriors believed dying bravely could bring them to Valhalla. But change was coming. Christian missionaries arrived. Some kings embraced the new religion. Others resisted fiercely. This sparked conflict, violence, division. Eventually, kings like Olaf II of Norway pushed Christianity across the kingdom. Old temples disappeared. Churches rose. Norway entered a new era. Its Viking identity remained, but the old gods faded into legend. The Black Death, a kingdom broken. Then disaster arrived. In the 1300s, Black Death struck Norway, and it was devastating. The plague killed enormous numbers of people. Villages emptied, farms were abandoned, trade collapsed, the kingdom weakened badly. Norway struggled to recover, and powerful neighbors noticed. That weakness changed the nation's future for centuries, ruled by Denmark. Eventually, Norway entered union with Denmark, and over time Denmark dominated. For hundreds of years, Norway was politically tied to Copenhagen. Norwegians kept their language and culture, but decisions often came from outside. Many felt Norway had become the junior partner. Still, people survived, fishing thrived, trade continued, and national identity never disappeared. It waited, quietly, for its chance. A new constitution and a fight for freedom. In 1814, Europe was changing after the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. Denmark lost Norway. Norwegians saw an opportunity. They gathered at Eidsvoll Manor and created a constitution, a bold one, declaring Norway an independent kingdom. It was a powerful moment, but neighboring Sweden stepped in. After conflict, Norway entered a union with Sweden. Norway had its constitution, but still wasn't fully free. Again, freedom seemed close, yet incomplete. Full independence. Then finally, Norwegians voted overwhelmingly to end the union with Sweden, peacefully, a rare moment in European history. Norway became fully independent. A new king arrived, Håkon VII. National pride exploded. At last, Norway stood alone, a sovereign nation, after centuries of outside control. Part 9. World War II and Resistance. But peace didn't last. In 1940, Nazi Germany invaded Norway. The attack was swift. Norway fought. The royal family resisted. Håkon VII refused to surrender. That refusal inspired the nation. Resistance movements formed. People risked everything. Sabotage, secret missions, underground networks. Years of occupation followed. Then, in 1945, freedom returned. Norway emerged scarred, but proud. Part 10. Oil, Wealth, and Modern Norway. Then came one more historic turning point. Oil. Huge reserves were discovered in the North Sea. Everything changed. Norway became incredibly wealthy. But leaders made a critical decision. Save and invest carefully. Build for the future, not just spend. That strategy transformed Norway. Today, Norway is known for strong democracy, high living standards, beautiful fjords, fishing traditions, winter sports, and one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds. A country once shaped by ice and survival became one of the most stable nations on Earth. From glaciers and tribal hunters to Viking ships crossing oceans, from plague and foreign rule to war, freedom, and extraordinary prosperity. The history of Norway is a story of survival against impossible odds, a land of sea and mountains, warriors and explorers, kings and resistance, and a people who refuse to disappear. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe to Heritage Hunter for more powerful untold history from every corner of the world. And tell me, which country's history should we uncover next?